extra song, Why Me Lord. Let me give you a little story about this. There's a video on YouTube, and if you go into Why Me Lord, Chris Christopherson, he was the one that wrote this song. And anyway, he talks about how this song became. He was doing a benefit with Dottie West and some others, Connie Francis, for Dottie West for the band of her high school. So they were trying to raise money. And then he said the next day, Connie Smith called him and said, hey, let's go to church. And he says, well, I'm not much of a church goer, but he went. And so they were at, is it Dean Snow? What is it?
Jimmy Snow.
Jimmy Snow. He's a son of Hank Snow. He had a ministry, and so they were at his church. Anyway, he said everybody was bowing their heads, and the pastor said, raise your hand if you need, forgiveness and stuff. And he's thinking to himself, he's got his head lowered, and he said, that'll never happen. And then all of a sudden he said, my hand was going up. Didn't even realize it, and it's up. He said then as the preacher went on, he asked if, if you want to be saved, come on up. And he said again, he says, yeah, ain't no way that's going to happen. I'm getting out of this chair. And he said, the next thing I know, I'm walking to the front, bowing down. So he said, the pastor said, hey, look, are you ready to accept Jesus? And he says, I don't know. He says, I don't know what force has got me here, but he says, I don't know. And before this was done, he was saved, and he wrote this song. And so this is how this song became, Why Me Lord. It was at that church, and he gave his life to Christ.
Scott was sharing a little bit about Chris Christopherson and how he came about writing that song. And it's a classic tale of how God uses different people and they don't even realize they're being used. God had been working in his life and he never really knew it. But then a person said, come to church with me. Nothing else. Just went to church. And in that interview he said, I couldn't even tell you what the pastor was saying. Sound familiar? But he responded to God's Spirit moving to draw him in. But then we never know how the little things in our life affect other people. There was many other instances, I'm sure, that brought him to a point of saying yes to go to church with us. But God opening our eyes to ourselves and our needs sometimes. But never think you're a small part in God's plan. You're a major part in God's plan. And that little thing that God urges you to do can save a soul. Oh, that little thing don't save the soul. God always saves the soul, but you're an instrument for God to use.
So every year, but the group called First Step in Bangor has a fundraising dinner. It's held in Bangor at a brewer, Jeff's Catering, and it happens to be October 17th. We have a 12-seat table or more to fill. We have 4 seats filled so far, and I would love to have about 4 more people say, yeah, we'll go. I guess the doors open around 6. Hors d'oeuvres or appetizers at 6:30, and then dinner to follow, and then there'll be a little bit of entertainment information, and there will be, the idea is to raise money, so there will be a request for a contribution or donation at the end. They run completely on donations. They don't take any government money or anything like that, and their goal is alternatives to abortions. They provide a free service. They do everything from vitamins and nutrition to ultrasounds. The only thing they don't do is abortions. But they will help young women in need of help or who are searching for an alternative or would consider an alternative to take a different lane than abortion. And I would love to have anybody that's interested just get a hold of me and we'll get set up for that.